to work in my life and yours. But before we do anything, let's stand up to our feet and follow along to this worship song.
Silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Over the hills and everywhere, go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere, go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
In the winter, there are many sports that we can do that can't be done during the spring, fall, or summer. Those sports include skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, and so on. There are so many things that we can also do at a ski lodge as well. While we are snowed in or stuck at home, we are learning some of God's promises to us. Today, we will see that God promises to work in our lives. Let's say what we need to know together. God promises to work in my life. The king of Aram sent his soldiers to attack Israel, and they won. The king's soldiers took many of the Israelite people back to Aram to work as their slaves. Even though they seemed bad, God is still working in the lives of his people. One young girl was taken from her home and family in Israel to serve at Naaman's house. Naaman was a pretty big deal to the king of Aram. Let's watch and see what happens next.
Naaman was a great warrior. He was a great fighter for Syria, but he also had leprosy. Leprosy is a disease where you would get sores that would eat away your skin. Leprosy has no cure, so anyone who got it would have to go and live alone with other lepers so they would not give it to someone else. Eventually, the person would die from this disease. Naaman's wife had a servant girl who had been captured from the Israelites by the Syrian army.
I know of a prophet in Samaria that can heal Naaman of his leprosy.
Naaman told the king what the girl had said. And the king of Syria said, "Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel." Naaman went and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of clothes. The letter said, Now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to thee, and thou may recover him of his leprosy. The king of Israel was not happy with the letter.
Am I God, to kill and to make alive, that this man send to me to recover a man of his leprosy? How can I cure his leprosy? See how he seeks a war against me.
Elisha the prophet heard of this and sent a letter to the king of Israel. The letter said, Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. Naaman came to Elijah's house with his horses and chariot, and came to the door. Elisha sent a messenger to him.
Go and wash in the Jordan River 7 times, and your sin will come again to you, and you will be clean and well.
Naaman did not like this.
I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and strike his hand over me and recover me of this leprosy. Is not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Why can't I wash in them and be clean?
Naaman was not happy when he left. His servants came to him and said,
My father, if the prophet had wanted you to do some great thing, wouldn't you have done it? How much rather then, when he said to thee, Wash and be clean?
So he went down to the river and washed himself 7 times like the prophet had said. When he came up, he was clean. Because the little maid girl was a servant to Naaman, he was healed.
Finally, Naaman decided to listen. Once he did what Elisha told him to do, his skin was healed and his life was so much better. We're learning a verse to remember that God always keeps his promises. Let's say it together. God isn't a mere human. He can't lie. He isn't a human being. He doesn't change his mind. He speaks and then he acts. He makes a promise and then he keeps it. Numbers 29:19. Before we end, I have a couple of questions for you to think about. First, how have you seen God work in your life? Second, what are some things you would like God to work out in your life right now? I hope to see you all next time in person or virtually